It's 3 a.m. and you have an emergency. What's up, warriors? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about finding and fixing a natural gas leak to prevent this emergency from turning into a real catastrophe. Warrior House DIY, empowering you with skills for life. Make sure to like this video, check out our helpful links in the description below, and don't forget to subscribe. Natural gas situations happen all the time, leading to carbon monoxide incidents and even explosion and fire. How you're notified about this natural gas potential leak in your home could actually be an indicator of where the problem exists. And what I mean by that is, a few years back, my family and I had a Nest thermostat hooked up to our furnace, and it notified us in the middle of the night that the furnace was actually cycling on and off while calling for heat. This problem persisted for one more night until we actually discovered a small gas smell coming from the furnace room. We were able to determine that that was where the problem was and fix it. But let's just take a step back. Everybody should call 911 and get the fire department rolling if they feel there is a true emergency at hand or this is an issue that you're not comfortable with tackling yourselves. But for most of us DIYers out there, we're going to investigate this and try and fix it ourselves, so we need to make sure that safety is first and foremost. But let me be very clear. Don't avoid calling 911 if there's an actual emergency taking place. Natural gas is nothing to mess around with. We want to make sure there is no ignition source whatsoever close to the area that we're going to start being investigating. And then we want to go and get limp. What do I mean by that? We want to locate, isolate, mitigate, and then we want to prevent this from happening further down the road. So in our case, we were dealing with a gas leak coming from the furnace room. So I did what every good homeowner would do, and I grabbed my gas sniffer tool. Who doesn't have one of these? Well, in all honesty, most people don't, but I was a firefighter paramedic, so I believed in having one on me at all times. And for me, this is the preferred method for pinpointing where that gas leak was coming from. I was able to sniff out all around all the different joints and couplings and find that leak so that we could mitigate it. If you don't have one of these, not a big deal. I'll leave a link down below, but you can also use the soapy water test. That is a tried and true test used by plumbers still to this day on all installations. It'll help you find out exactly where that leak is. So now we can move on to mitigate the situation. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. Maybe it's 3 o'clock in the morning and maybe your CO alarms are going off and the kids are freaking out and the dog's freaking out. Okay, well here's the deal. You got to be able to turn the gas off. Maybe you can make it to the meter outside, maybe you can't. If you can't turn the gas off outside, maybe you got a valve close to the area that you're working with. And if you don't, there is one last ditch effort before you can get a plumber out there to properly fix it if you're not capable of doing it yourself, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But this is silicone sealing tape. It's stretch and seal tape, right? This plastic roll looks kind of like electric tape, comes in all different colors, available at most hardware stores, all the big box stores, Menards, Home Depot, Lowe's, they're all going to carry this stuff. But basically, it's got this plastic film on it. You remove that, and then you actually stretch it and seal it around the pipe. This will hold not only water leaks from copper pipes that might have a pinhole leak in them. A drain line is really simple because it's not under pressure at all, but even on a gas line, most residential gas lines are really low pressure once they're past the meter and inside your house. You're looking at like 4 to 6 pounds. It's not a lot. This tape could actually hold your leak off until the next day when you can get a plumber out there or you can fix the pipe yourself. Now, if you're going to tackle this repair yourself, then you already know what you're doing. You're getting into the pipe wrenches. You're going to disassemble the area so that you can put a new sealant around those threads and get everything tightened back up and snugged up. When you're done, you're going to go ahead and test everything with a soapy water bubble test, maybe even break out a gas meter for a little bit more assurance. And then we move on to prevention. At the end of the day, we're dealing with pipe here. Pipe is a metal. Metal expands and contracts. There's vibrations, especially if we're talking about a furnace or an HVAC unit, and things can come loose. Fittings can come loose. Couplings can come loose. We're going to go over this whole thing with soapy water bubble the next morning. Don't deal with it at 3 o'clock in the morning. Maybe you're even just using the tape to get yourself back to bed. Rest assured, have a good night's sleep and deal with the pipes the next day. But preventing this from turning into an emergency situation is as simple as doing our routine maintenance checks around our house. For a list of more of those, hit us up in the comments down below and we'd be happy to send you our home maintenance checklist. And while you're down there, comment Warrior and give us a subscribe if you haven't done so already. JR with Warrior House DIY. We'll see you in the next video.